Psalm 94. Brother, you know about your nationality? Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Y'all gotta repent, right? You gotta grow out your beard, no blonding the hair, right? No breaking the Sabbath, right?
Right.
You want to bring out verse 7 or go on verse 8?
Wherever you left off.
Yeah, they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it.
Right. So bring out Ephesians 5:15. Right? We gotta wake Jacob up, man. We gotta wake them the hell up. The same way Jacob told his household to wake up. Go ahead. The exact same way Jacob told. You can bring that out in Genesis 35.
Ephesians chapter 5.
Genesis 35. 15.
5 verse 15. See, then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Right, so you gotta walk circumspectly in this thing. Right? You gotta walk circumspectly. If you're not, you're gonna stumble and fall. Right? What happens when you fall? You're gonna be put to death. Right? You're gonna fall out this truth. Bring out 2 Ezra, the 7th chapter, and the 7th verse.
35:1.
And
Genesis 35:1.
the book of Genesis, chapter 35 and verse 1. And God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethlehem, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God. That appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau, thy brother.
It's like, so Jacob told his household to arise, get the hell up, right? Make moves. Chop, chop. Go ahead.
Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you.
Not only did he say wake up, but he also said, look, put away the strange gods that are among you. Go ahead.
And be clean.
And be clean, right?
And change your garments.
That's right. Change your garments. Not physically. They wasn't rolling around in mud. But more so, look, you got to put off that filthy rag, right? That you thought that was righteousness, right? You got to put on that righteous rag. It's like that righteous garment, right? Put it like that, like you read in Sirach 27 and 8, right? I believe Isaiah 11 and 5. But Psalms 132 and 9. Did you have a precept?
You have Isaiah 30 and 1.
God, let's bring this out real quick.
Book of Isaiah. Book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1.
Bring it up.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
It's like, who does Jake take counsel? Who do they go to for counsel? They go to the so-called white man.
That's right.
Right? Hey, they turn on CNN and say, how can they help me today? Right? Well, what can I learn about them? Right? What advice are they going to give me to build up my nation? You got to be a damn fool to think your enemies are going to help you build up. Right? They don't want that. That's the last thing that they want. Right? No building with your so-called allies.
That they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth.
Right, so they literally walk down to Egypt and say, look, help me out. Right, that's why they go down to the polls and vote. Right, they literally ask in Egypt for help. Right, and they're not going to make it. Right, you ain't going to make it like that. Not with that mindset. There's more than that.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
See, it's gonna be your shame and your confusion, right? Soon, watch when Biden do something sad or something awful, right? The next 2020 crime bill, Jay gonna be confounded. Why did he do that? I didn't think he'd do that.
I can't wait.
See, you a fool because you're not walking circumspectly. You don't know your enemies. If you don't know your enemies, you're gonna keep trusting in who you think is your friends, right? You're gonna keep trusting in Babylon. That's how a foolish man falls. Right. You got it.
All right. In the book of the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 7.
Bring it up.
A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are a snare of his soul.
See that? Lips are a snare of his soul. You can bring that out in Job 15 and 6, I believe. What's your nationality? You got 1 second for the Bible? All praises. Come on down, come on down, come on down. All praises. Hold on to that. All right, you see yourself in this chart? On this side? You see yourself in this side of the chart? You said Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's next to Puerto Rican? What do you see?
Those two.
Huh?
Cuban and Dominican.
Well, what's your father? Is your father Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
And his father's Puerto Rican that you know of? All right, and you see what's next to Puerto Rican? Ephraim, right? Now, you from the tribe of Ephraim. Now, you're not really Puerto Rican because that just means rich port.
That's right.
When the Spaniards, the conquistadors, when they came on down, they said, look, this is a very rich port. It's full of vegetation, right? They saw gold and everything, right? You gotta take a picture of this. It's deep. All praises, right? So, why have you been calling yourself a Puerto Rican?
That's what they teach us.
That's what they've been teaching us, right? What else did they teach the Puerto Ricans when it comes to religion? What religion did they teach them?
Oh, my family is Protestant.
Huh?
My family is Protestant.
Protestant church, right? And were your forefathers Protestants? Were your forefathers and foremothers Protestants? Nope. Right? Who were they? How do we find this out? See? We gotta go back to the scriptures, right? So in the scriptures, you won't find Puerto Rican either, but we know that they're in the scriptures, right? Because when you think about the Puerto Ricans, so-called Puerto Ricans and the rest of the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans and so-called blacks, don't we stand out? Don't we got like salt when we walk? Don't we start all the trends? Right? We got when we dance. You know, nobody else can dance like us. You know, I haven't seen a white couple that can salsa like the Puerto Ricans. I haven't seen it, right? Bring out Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
You believe in the Bible, right? So Moses is speaking to the Israelites. He said you're going to go to Egypt again, but with ships. We have to break down the word Egypt to get a better understanding, right? Because there's no other account in the scriptures where they went back into Egypt. All right, so let's break it down.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of the what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. So that's what Egypt means. And what's your name? Beatrice. Check this out, Beatrice.
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
He said you're going to go into Egypt again, but with ships, right? Meaning slavery and captivity again, but with ships. How did where did the so-called Puerto Ricans go when the white man came down?
They killed us all.
They killed the majority, and they also took y'all back up to England, into Spain, right? Now, this is a book called Everything You Need to Know About Latino History, right? Now, we're going to read an account. Bring this out. God, you can start right there. Right now, it's written by Humilice Novas. Start from the top.
So-called African people were brought to the New World as slaves by the English, the Spanish, and the Portuguese. As early as the 15th century,
Right.
the Portuguese pushed down the African coast and introduced the African slave into Europe.
Go ahead.
At first, Portuguese ships carried slaves from Spain. Then, when the New World was discovered, descendants of these slaves born in Spain were brought to Haiti, Hispaniola, to work the mines. The Spanish conquistadors attempted to use local Arawak, Maya, Aztec, and Inca
You heard that? Mayas, Aztecs, and Incas go on.
to work in the New World plantations and mines.
And they were also taken up to Spain and Europe, right? You saw the movie Pocahontas? Well, in the movie Pocahontas, she was literally put on a ship. Her and a whole bunch of other her people. They went back up to Spain and England, right? And they were servants and handmaids. Go ahead.
But when the Native Americans began dying off, the Spanish started importing slaves from Africa. The great ship companies of Europe bid against each other for the right to transport African slaves to the New World.
So why are we bringing this out? Because this is prophecy that we're bringing out, right? It goes back to the Bible. Bring this out one more time. Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
You're going to go into slavery or captivity again, but how?
By the way whereof I said with ships.
With ships, right? Your ancestors went into captivity with ships. They was being tossed to and fro. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Have you seen your true homeland? Is Puerto Rico really your homeland? Is it really?
Yes, to us it is.
And because you don't really know your history, right? We don't really know our history. A lot of so-called black people,
No. Because that's where we was born. And where you born, that's your motherland.
well, what's our real motherland? If everybody in the scriptures, was everybody in the scriptures already over here?
Well, if you're gonna do it like that, like from the past, but for us, that's it. That's home.
All right, we got you. I hear why you say that. Bring this out one more time.
Thou shalt say it no more again.
Right, you're not going to see your homeland. What is our homeland, right? We point right there. Look, from the tribe of Ephraim, right? Was Israel already dwelling here in America? Like thousands of years ago? Nope. It was dwelling in Israel. We're gonna prove it to you.
The book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
Right. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. That's the motherland.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Right.
For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And which people put your foremothers in captivity? Spaniards, right? That's why y'all speak Spanish. That's why y'all are Protestants. They push their language and their religions upon you. Now, as a result, we're destroyed. You have a lot of Puerto Ricans, they believe that they're white. You got a lot of Cubans believing that they're really white. You know about it, right? So we're destroyed as a people. And why is that?
To Puerto Ricans, let me tell you something. We all are equal. There is no such thing, you white, black, you mix. We are the same. We treat each other the same. We don't know racism there.
Well,
I
everybody.
learned all that in here.
You said what?
I learned all that about racism and all that here. We all equal.
Who's all equal?
In Puerto Rico, we don't
Okay.
have that.
Are y'all equal with the white man? Yeah? 76. Now, we brought out earlier who's the best dancer, who sets the best trends.
My dad is red as a Cheeto.
What?
But my mom is not. My mom is your skin
Well, it's not about skin color exactly, because you have certain so-called black people, they look white as you. You said what?
That's what I'm telling you. Like, we are all the same.
All right, we're going to show you something.
Differences.
Now, let me ask you something. If you lost your dog and you put up flyers, right, and then somebody bring you a different dog, are you going to say, oh, all dogs are the same, that's my dog? No, right? See? So that's the point I'm making is we're all not the same.
We don't like to see difference like that.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee.
Like in thee, meaning you, Israel. He's speaking to Israel. He chose in thee
To be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That sounds like favoritism. That's what the Lord said, right? That's favoritism. He chose the Israelites. As I mentioned before, who's the best dancers? Who invented everything? Who sets all the trends? None other than so-called black, Hispanics, Native Americans.
That's right.
We had to teach the Europeans how to wash up, how to bathe. Right? We had to teach them how to put spices in their food, right? And ingredients in their food. That's facts. Bring this out. Hold that like that, Barbara Sharp. Yeah. Hold on, Beatrice. One more, Beatrice. You come closer.
The light is killing
Somebody might
me.
put that light. We got you, Beatrice.
Before Columbus and his crew rode in and in 1540 officially conquered the Greater Antilles, the Taino and Sabani and the Arawakan groups living in the Greater Antilles had enjoyed a highly developed social and economic system based on farming and fishing. They were peaceful and disciplined. They carried
It's
out
like, why were they so disciplined? Because they were still keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father. There's an article that you can Google online. 500 keystones in Hebrew was found in Puerto Rico. Why was it Hebrew in those keystones? Because they spoke Hebrew. Because we're telling you that you're a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim. Go ahead.
they carried out elaborate harvest ceremonies.
Right, going back to Leviticus 23rd chapter, their harvest ceremonies was going back to the ancient feast days.
And held naturalistic beliefs in bush spirits that foretold the coming of the Messiahs.
Where can you read about that? bush spirits speaking to to Israel in the scriptures, right? We're proving to you that you're an Israelite through historical artifacts, through archaeological artifacts. So you got to do your research too. Google 500 keystones in Puerto Rico. Your forefathers and foremothers spoke Puerto Rican. Look, here you go.
No,
It's like
they
it.
didn't speak Puerto Rican.
I'm sorry, Hebrew. Check this out.
Spanish, not Puerto Rican.
Well, before the Spaniards came, they would speak. Check this out.
Taíno.
They were speaking Hebrew. See, you can't make that up. You can't forge that.
Get it for the camera.
You see that? That's 800. Slakia. 800 ancient stones with Hebrew writing in Puerto Rico authenticated.
This is cool what you guys doing, but why don't you really concentrate on what is going on right now?
That's what we doing.
In Revelation.
But before we jump to that, you got to know your nationality. You got to know who you are as a person.
Can you research the Great Reset? It's happening.
Well,
The
before,
Great Reset, globalization, the New World Order.
Yep,
This is what's
yep.
gonna start.
yeah, and look, that's all in the scriptures. But first, we got to start off with the
That
milk.
is more important than
Well, sis-
really these.
well, we got to start off with the milk first, right? We got to start off with the basic information because you came up believing that you're a Puerto Rican of rich port. That's what the white man told you.
Well, okay, but to us,
See?
I'm Puerto Rican.
You can't be
And
sister.
nothing is gonna change that. We are
It
really
is.
proud that we have.
Are you proud? Are you proud that the white man called you Puerto Rican? Are you happy about that?
I am. I'm very proud
See?
of it.
Oh, you made a left turn. You made a left turn. You shouldn't be proud of that.
That's
Psalms
who I
49:11.
am. That's who I am.
That's what the white man indoctrinated you. He told you that you're Puerto
We
Rican.
We were recognized.
And what were the Puerto Ricans speaking before they spoke Spanish?
Taíno.
But before that, they spoke Hebrew. We showed you.
Taíno.
They spoke Hebrew.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
That's the so-called white man's mindset, that his house shall continue forever. That's why he,
Where is
hold on real
that?
quick.
In
This
the Old
Psalms 40.
Testament, right?
Yeah, but it's also in the New Testament too.
Okay, that's in the Old
Yeah.
Testament. They were
Bring up
referring to
Revelation
that
13 to
place.
10. So
I like to Puerto Rico. Come on.
that just means rich port. We got one more for you too, Revelation 13 to 10. This is what the Lord said.
What was called before Puerto Rico?
Nobody knows. Nobody's
Oh,
available
yes.
to that information.
It was
Because it was just a land.
Borican.
The book of Revelation, chapter
Borican.
13
Check this out.
and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
What did the white man and the Spaniards conquistadors do to your people? They led your people into captivity, right? Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Now, because they did that to you, now they have to be killed with the sword.
But not because of that, we're gonna keep hating each other.
No, oh, that's what the Lord said. This is the book of
That's okay.
Revelation.
But the-
It's the last book of the
When
Bible.
he say, love your brother as yourself,
19.
right?
Hold on. And who's our brothers?
I cannot, you my brother.
Leviticus 19:1. Everybody on this chart.
You.
Hold on,
you
sister.
my
Everybody on
brother.
this chart is our brothers and sisters. Everybody only on this chart. Bring this up.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
Speak unto the congregation of the children of Israel. Jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
So who is this? Hold on, wait a minute, Beatrice, hold on, we gotta keep it in order. So in context, hold on. No, Beatrice, you gotta listen first.
Listen.
All right, bring that out again, because
You just
Beatrice, you
want
kind
to
of
cause-
bulking up. Bring that up.
You just want
The
to
book of
cause
Leviticus, chapter 20,
separation. We have
chapter
to
19
love each
and
other.
verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Right, keep it in context. You gotta listen first. You gotta humble down real
I'm
quick.
not gonna hate.
No, you gotta listen what I'm telling you.
I'm
It didn't
not
say
gonna
hate.
hate.
It didn't say hate.
Well,
Read
that's,
it again.
you
Hold
are
on, you gotta
trying.
listen.
You are,
Listen,
but you
Beatrice.
listen to me
Thou
first.
shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Ah, you don't have
Don't
to
hate
scream.
your brother.
Don't be.
Ah,
No, but don't
kind of you all over the place, Beatrice.
Look,
It said don't hate your brothers in your heart, right?
exactly.
But we can hate our enemies.
Why would you try to
That's
say
Psalms
like
139 and 20.
you don't want to listen neither?
Bring out 1 Kings 15 and 4.
Why?
We're bringing
I
out the
wanna
scriptures. We
hate.
gotta show you your history.
Why would
You
I
don't know who
want
you
to
are.
hate the white man?
Maybe if you listening, you
I don't wanna
understand.
hate no one, bro.
You gotta hate the so-called white man. See?
Cool.
See? Beatrice came up, kind of hit.
I
Listening.
don't want to hate you guys. Always try to
Well, you shouldn't hate us.
Don't do that. Don't be a cool mommy. I know Chico, señorita. No cooning.
139 and 22.
The book of Psalms, chapter 139 and verse 22. I hate them with perfect hatred.
What did David say?
I hate them with perfect
Who
hatred.
do we hate? We hate the so-called white man with a perfect hatred. Right? Not just a little bit, but with a perfect hatred. Go ahead.
I count them mine enemy.
I count them mine enemies. Now, is David going off? Is he a liar? Bring this up.
Book of 1 Kings chapter 15, then verse what? Verse 4. Nevertheless, for David's sake did the Lord his God give him a lamp in Jerusalem to set up his son after him and establish Jerusalem.
Right, so this is one because the Lord loved David, right? Now bring out 2 Kings.
God, the Lord was this is
2 Kings. Where his heart was perfect with the Lord. God, that's it. I know it said in there too, but it said here too.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 4. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father.
So when David was writing the Psalms, his heart was perfect with the Lord. Meaning he was not in error or sin when he said, I count them my enemies. I hate them with a perfect hatred. Right? So a lot of you so-called Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, you think you Edomites, man. Right? You strongly influenced by the white man's philosophies and his doctrines. Right? So you think everybody's the same. Right? You're proud to be called the rich pork. That's an insult. Let's bring this out real quick too. Let's see what this Corey said. Right here. She said, I don't want to spoil it. Bring it out right there. This is page 3 out of the book, Everything You Need to Know About Latino History.
Okay. Novelist Sandra Cisneros.
I'm sorry, right there.
In the United States.
Yep.
In the United States, many Hispanics consider the word Hispanic merely a bureaucratic government census term.
Go ahead.
And call themselves Latinos, or else use the terms Mexican American, Dominican American, and so on. Many Latinos, particularly writers and artists, strongly object to Hispanic and prefer to be called Latinos or Latinas.
And that's wrong too, but jump down right there.
Novelist Sandra Cisneros, author of Women Hollering Creek and Other Stories, goes as far as refusing to let her work appear in anthologies that use the word Hispanic.
Why does she say this? Go ahead.
Because she says it smacks of colonization.
It smacks of colonization. So every time you call yourself Puerto Rican, you basically say you're the white man's property, right? You still his possession, right? Go ahead. That's why we give ourselves, through the spirit, we give ourselves another name, right? Because we usually adopted the names of these so-called white men, right? You got brothers up here named John, Henry, right? I don't know, Tommy, right? Go ahead.
It's a repulsive slave name, she declared in an interview for the New York Times.
It's a repulsive ass slave name, right? Similar with the term African American and black. That's a repulsive slave name, right? We hate hearing that. That's why we don't say we black no more. We say we Hebrew Israelites, right? And our forefathers is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Brother, you got a question?
Brother with the hat.
Brother, come here. You got a question?
Come here, brother. Get up here, brother.
I don't know where I'm about to start at.
What's your question?
I don't know where to start at. I'm just discussing what's going on, what y'all discussing. I'm discussing because we all the same.
Everybody on earth?
All right, this is what I say though. All
right, you been smoking?
Do you eat healthy?
Brother, have you been smoking? Are you inebriated?
In the month of Ijar, do you not eat? Do you barely eat?
All right, brother.
What month is that?
Shit, I don't know, but I guess the winter time.
See? See
You
that?
gonna eat winter?
Brother, you growing some wings and you winging it.
Ijar is a real Hebrew month, and that represents us being jars. You feel me? On some healthy shit. That's
brother
basically
inebriated?
Ramadan. All
right. Brother, you know your nationality?
They don't claim all our shit.
Judah.
They come over here to talk to y'all, man.
All praises, all praises.
All right, dude.
All right, brother, we got you later. We got you in a minute. All right, so you said you see yourself in this chart?
In a minute, bro.
You Judah, right?
What's going on right now, brother?
All praises to the Most High.
Hey, bro.
You feel me?
All right, brothers are all out of order. Ignore him, right? Now, you believe in the Bible? You believe in the Bible?
I believe in the Bible, but I got my own beliefs on a lot of stuff, though.
Like what? What you mean?
It was written to you know what I'm saying? It wasn't for us. Well, the Bible is for us, but they rewritten it. That's how I feel, you feel me, for the whites. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Just to take us away from it, you feel me? We really the children of God, you feel me?
That's right. You see yourself in the chart?
You said the white man wrote it for them?
No, I ain't say they wrote it for them. I said they try to destroy us away from it, you know what I'm saying? Distract us from it, you know what I'm saying? It was written for us, for real. We believe the children of God, you know what I'm saying? I'm an Israelite, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I believe, you know what I'm saying? I know, I believe. I do my research, church people.
Okay. So what's the problem then? Why not? You don't believe the whole thing?
I believe in it. It's just like I don't. It's like it's like I won't say I don't believe in the Bible. I don't go to church. I pray to my own God. You feel me? We all got the same God, but I pray to God. You feel me? I don't go to church because all these different motherfuckers, different Muslim, baptism, Christian, all that shit is fake to me. You feel me? They don't win a dollar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So. I just, you know what I'm saying, I do my own thing at home.
Do your own thing?
I do my own thing at home. I pray to my own God.
You gotta do what the Lord said. You gotta do the Lord's thing. See? So you know any commandments? You know any commandments?
I mean, I know a couple of them, you know what I'm saying?
Spit some. You out here to build.
You can't give me do it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, wait a minute. See, now if somebody came up and said, you know, do you know any commandments for you? You know, you gotta kind of spit a few, right?
Yeah, I can't.
All right, we got you. Bring out Leviticus 19:27.
Leviticus chapter 19. And verse 27.
All right, bro.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27. Right? Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corner of thy beard.
Right, meaning we can't basically make ourselves bald, right? We can't make ourselves bald in our head. Neither can we destroy our beard, right? Now you can get lineups, but you shouldn't kind of cut. You can't cut past the natural lining of your beard, right? Or your mustache. You can get it lined up, but you can't cut it down that low, right? Like how it is now. You gotta let it grow out to the best of your ability. Whatever you can grow, you gotta grow it out. Some brothers don't got a lot. Other brothers got soul patch. Other brothers got full man shoes. That's what they call it. So you gotta grow all of that out to the best of your ability. You know.
Y'all hit the IUIC?
We heard about them. You know. Yep.
That's what I follow. Like that's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, did you keep the Sabbath day today? Did you keep the Sabbath day today?
No, it's Saturday. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't.
Did you buy and sell?
Yeah.
You didn't buy and sell today?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting hip though. I'm just doing what I'm starting. You feel me? That's what I'm doing.
You know about pork? You know about pork?
Pork, like meat?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you ain't supposed to eat.
All right. What about shellfish?
It's the bottom feeders. You know?
Okay, brother. Okay. What about the fringes? What about the fringes? Fringes. All right, we got you. What you got?
The book of Numbers, chapter 15.
Hey, Salaki, tell them to come down here. Know about their nationality.
Bring it out.
Verse 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
So they gotta have fringes on, right?
Throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of their borders a ribbon of blue.
Now the fringe can be any color. The brothers got blue, white, yellow, gold, right? Don't matter what color fringe is, but you gotta have a border of blue on it.
They do the same. They get with the fringes too. They do the same thing. That's why
right.
I'm hip for sure.
You see,
I'm just getting hip. Like I'm just.
They keeping the
You know what
commandments.
I'm saying? I'm just getting hip. Like joining and you know what I'm saying, doing my thing. Like I say, I do my own thing at the crib. You feel me? But I'm just following them because that's the only thing I see that was benefit me. You know what I'm saying?
God.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them. and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, which after which ye used to go a-whoring.
That's right. So you got to wear your fringes so you look upon them. Oh, I got to keep the commandments. I can't buy on the Sabbath. Oh, I can't hate my brother. I can't bear a grudge against my own brother on this chart, right? 'Cause white man's our enemies, right? White man's our enemy. And brother, this too, you got to take heed of your friends, right? Because you don't want to be with people that don't give a damn about the Lord, right? They don't give a damn about the Bible, right? Because they'll lead you astray. They'll pull you out of that. They'll say, oh, drop that. They'll start peer pressuring you to do evil, right? Proverbs 22. Hey, brother, this is real serious. Brother, you got to cut off people that's trying to separate you from the Lord. This is very imperative. You ain't going to hear this nowhere else. Right? You're going to have certain women come to you, hey, baby, let's do this, right? Let's do things contrary to the Lord. You got to say hell no, right? Go ahead.
Look at Proverbs chapter 1, verses 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
Right, sinners are enticing you, trying to speak into you, got to consent thou not. You got to say no. I love the Lord, right? I worship the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shema Shai. Therefore, I can't participate in your activities, right? Such as breaking the commandments, right? Joining the, being in the damn club on Friday night, right?
I pray to Yahshua every day, you know what I'm saying?
I was.
You feel me? Like, I know. Like, I'm here for real. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I appreciate y'all.
What you about to go do?
Huh?
You better go smoke?
No, I don't smoke, bro.
Okay.
I don't even eat meat. I'm just, you know, she here in town. She ain't from here, so I'm about to show her this thing.
All right, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that shit, though, for real. Like I said, I'm talking, I'm hip.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. We got something for you. We got a flyer for you. You got to tell, you know, whoever you lie with, that's your wife. We got to tell her she got to wear dresses, right, according to the Lord. Pursuing the Deuteronomy 22:5. That's a commandment as well. Now, if she don't get down with that,
like I said, I'm here, bro.
hey, if she don't get down with that, you got to rebuke her. You got to put her on the dress, right? We're going to get judged. All right, brother. Have a good night. I'm going to end it with this, Jeremiah 49:6. We're going to close out on these two, or I'm going to pass the next brother.
Jeremiah 43:6.
49:6.
8 o'clock. 7:12 right now.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 6. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, saith the Lord.
Right.
Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more into man?
Right.
Is counsel perished from the prudent?
Right, we seeing this captivity slowly crumble, right? This empire is slowly crumbling and fall apart, and it's beautiful, right? We love it. Go ahead.
Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back. Dwell deep, O inhabitants of the dam, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him.
Right, he's going to bring the calamity of Esau upon him. Go ahead.
The time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes?
Right, going into Esau, his nature, his characteristics. He's a vile man, right? He's a niggard. He's a selfish man. Go ahead.
If these by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, and I have uncovered his secret places.
Right, and the Lord's also uncovering the secret places of Esau. Right, he's exposing him left and right. Now we have a strong, full understanding that these politicians are wicked, man. Right, when we was in the world, we didn't really know any better. The light wasn't shining upon us to really discern, okay, he's kind of good and he's kind of bad. Now we have a strong understanding that this environment that we're in is wicked.
He shall not be able to hide himself.
He ain't going to be able to hide himself. Yeah, we read in Revelation 6 and 15 that he's going to try to, right? But it'll be to no avail.
His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
That's right. You got it.
Isaiah 13:1. We got Isaiah chapter 13, verses 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
Right.
Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand.
It's like, it's not talking about a formal handshake. It's talking about shaking the hand, meaning prophesied destruction. Because our forefathers did the same thing in the ancient world. They shook their hand, representing like a downfall, right? Like you're about to cut it down, right? Don't Jake say, kind of like you're about to karate chop somebody, right? They cutting somebody down, right?
That they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also caught my mighty ones for my anger. Even them rejoice in my highness.
He calls his mighty ones for his anger, right?
The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdom of nations gathered together, and the Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, and even the Lord and the weapons in indignation to destroy the whole land. How yea, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and it shall come as destruction from the Almighty Yahweh.
See that? Most High ain't playing no games, right? The destruction is at hand, right? Babylon's falling, right? We about to see race wars. They're very imminent, right? You had the one of the Edomites, one of them factions, I can't remember. They said, look, the standby order is preceded, right? I mean, we about to pop shit off. All right, but with that, I'm gonna pass it to the next mighty brother, Proper Up.